Hi everyone and welcome to Trail Tune-Up. My name is Jason and today we're going to talk about why I'm taking this 2004 CRF 250X and trading it in for this. All right, here it is, the 2024 KTM 350 XWF. All right, all jokes aside, I could never get rid of this bike. This is a tried and true trail machine, and this bike is fairly modded to get the most out of a 250 that you really can. We did the airbox mod. We went ahead and we got a full exhaust on here with a FMF Powerbomb header. We've got the Lex MXE slip-on. We also geared down the rear sprocket, and of course, we jetted with a JD jetting kit to make sure that the bike was running proper. And you know, this thing rips pretty good, but it was time to move on for me. A couple reasons why I decided to go with this bike. I primarily ride OHV and I ride it all year around. You can find me at Carnegie most weekends, Hollister other weekends, and those are the two main places I ride. I have a ton of fun riding in those areas, both for different reasons, but this was one of the very few bikes that I could get that was new and a green sticker. Sure, there's the CRF 450X, there's the 250F, but neither of those bikes really suited my needs. The 450X weighs about 275 pounds, and that's without fuel. I think that's even without oil. I could be wrong. I'm sure someone will call me out in the comments if I am. But this bike right here, a 350, weighs something like 20 pounds less than my CRF 250X. And for me, I'm all about having a nimble bike. I love riding tight trails. I don't really race. You know, I wanted something that I could be nimble on, yet still had some good power. And this just absolutely suited my needs. Sure, there's a lot of things to do with the emissions that sort of choke this bike up, but we are going to do a variety of things to this bike so that we can really unleash and uncork the power. Now, I will say I am going to ride it stock for a little bit at first, and then I'll invest the money to make all of these changes that I'm talking about. What we're going to do with this bike to make sure that it is running proper is we're going to go ahead, we're going to open this up, get to the airbox, we're going to take out those reeds. I've heard that those reeds can be problematic for people, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that after I get some rides in. We'll take out the reeds, we'll install an intake tube to really force that air in. I've also heard that, you know, when you're going wide open, the actual intake itself is a little flimsy. You know, it's a plastic box and it can kind of get sucked in by the sort of vacuum that's pulling the air in through it. So installing an intake tube is really going to help with all of that. We're also going to remap the ECU. We're also going to get rid of back here in the exhaust. They've got kind of this restrictive screen in there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to replace that end cap. We're going to make sure that exhaust can breathe a little bit. And then, like I said, with the ECU, that's going to help with kind of the fuel air ratio and making sure that now that we've opened things up with the intake, unrestricted it a bit, opened things up with the exhaust, unrestricted it a little bit, we're going to need to make sure that our fuel ratio is matching the air that's going to be coming in and out of this bike. So once we do those mods, I've read somewhere along the gains of like 20 or 30 horsepower. Again, don't quote me or do quote me and then call me out in the comments and let me know I'm wrong and tell me what the actual numbers are. And then something that I also want to show you guys is what you actually receive when you buy a brand new bike. You get this fancy box, just a brown box, and that's what you get. Let's see what we've got inside here. This obviously is from Honda Kawasaki KTM of Modesto. Like I said, in a moment here, I'll give you a little price breakdown of what I paid, why it cost that much. Anytime you buy a brand new bike, expect to pay $2,000 on top of the price you're seeing for taxes, getting the bike registered, you know, the fee that they charge you to put the bike together. I believe they call it the shipping freight fee as well. You know, they don't receive these bikes all in one piece. They got to put it together. Totally understandable, makes sense. That's just how it goes. You also get this handy little toolkit. I highly doubt I'm going to be using any of them. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. As you can see, I have a fairly extensive set of tools in there, and I'll run you through those in a video in the future and kind of show you the tools that I think are super important for any person maintaining their dirt bike to have. So far we've got the tools, we've got, you know, the pamphlet, and then you get a little box of goodies. I wouldn't say they're that goody, but you get a box of stuff. Right here are some dust covers for your levers. If you do opt to take these bark busters, we'll call them, off, They're basically hooked up to the perch, and you would want to put these in there to help with any dust getting inside of your clutch lever, inside of your brake lever. So that's why they give you these. There's also a series of other components that are meant for basically removing your emissions. And so I'm not gonna go over every little thing that you get in here. A wash cap set, I'm assuming that means these are things that you should cap off on your bike before you actually go ahead and spray it down. And never use a power washer on your bike. If you do, use one specifically made for washing dirt bikes to make sure that you don't, damage your bike in any way. All right, so here's a little breakdown of the price. I paid $8,999 for the KTM itself, $1,090 for the setup and freight fee, $85 for the document fee, $877.51 for the sales tax. We've got the California state tire fee, which is $3.50. We've got the estimated DMV fees for $54, $33 for the DMV processing. That's for them to get me my registration on the spot. I was handed a temporary registration, and I will get my green sticker in the mail. I made a down payment of $2,000, so my financed amount is going to be $9,142, and over a course of 48 months with a 10% APR, which is an abominably high APR, but they told me that that's what they could do. I could potentially refinance for the full amount somewhere else, give them the money, and then pay that back at maybe a 5 or 6% APR. Now, one of the things you do not get when you purchase a new KTM is a printed out owner's manual, which is absolutely bonkers to me. You're paying $12,000 to $15,000 for a brand new bike, and they give you a PDF file. Now, that just doesn't work for me. I always keep a manual for my bike here inside my drawers, and it's essential for doing any dirt bike maintenance. You don't know it all, but the way you can learn it all is by having one of these. So what I did is I took matters into my own hands. I went to my local FedEx print shop. I printed out all 169 pages front to back. I went ahead and I bought a binder. I bought a bunch of plastic sleeves. I painstakingly put each page in the sleeves and put them all together in a nice little binder. I'll show you guys those in a second. Most of the manual's in black and white, so you could print in black and white, and you can just print your front page and back page in color, which is what I opted to do. And the binder looks great. It looks nice, and it's a great reference point for when you're working on the bike. So highly recommend that you do something like that if you're gonna get a brand new bike. Still blows my mind that they don't provide you with a printed owner's manual, but I guess, they're trying to save the trees, and I think they're also trying to save a little bit of money, with all the bikes that they produce. They're probably saving hundreds of thousands of dollars on not printing these manuals because they can get expensive. I mean, just for me to go and print it on my own, I spent something like almost $80, which sounds crazy, but hey, it's something that I needed. It's something that I was willing to do. It's something that I'll use for the life of this bike. And so that's just a couple of things that I wanted to cover that come when you buy yourself a brand new KTM. I'm going to be honest with you, with these videos, I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. I don't necessarily have an agenda set of what I'm going to speak about, but I do know that I want to tell you guys about this bike because I'm super excited about it. And I want you guys to subscribe to this channel. I plan on making videos having to do with everything from the tools that are helpful to have when you're working on your bikes, general maintenance. This is more of a channel for the beginner, for the advanced beginner, for the intermediate, and probably that's about it. If you're an expert rider, you're probably not going to care too much about what I have to say because you're probably going to know it already. But again, you might hear something that you never knew before. So give me a subscription, hit that notification bell, make sure you get alerted every time I upload a video, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys more. This is Jason for Trail Tune Up, and we'll see you out on the trails.